Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, November 26, 2013. I am astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. The December webinar is happening this weekend. Sign up now at inclusiveastrology.com. December 1st, 10 a.m. Pacific. That's Sunday, this Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific. Because of my holiday weekend, it has to be on that day. It has to be at that time. So if you can make it, I'd love to see you there. That's 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK. It's going to be awesome going deep into the month, the Venus retrograde that's coming, the holiday season. You are not going to want to miss this webinar. Sign-ups now. And I am also signing up for my live webinar classes. Those are coming the week after. So please join now because I'm actually booking those up really fast. Here we are today. We have Mercury so close to coming out of its full shadow period. This is where Mercury went retrograde, 18 degrees Scorpio. Today, Mercury is going to be at 17. It's on the brink of something. We're so close. You know, we're so close on figuring out something very dark, very deep, very intense in our lives that still is lingering around. Even though we're wanting to expand and grow, and there's these moments where we find these new expansions, and we're actually being forced to with Jupiter retrograde and the Sun in Sagittarius. There's a lot of energy of forcing us to find new hope, new optimism in our life. But there is this thing that's like, you know, on our back. You know, Mercury on Saturn can feel like it's something stuck in your brain. It's some thought pattern stuck in maybe a dark zone, and we're getting so close to figuring out what this is. I think a lot of it today will be as the moon is going to top into this, as it's going to sextile Saturn, sextile Mercury, and the moon is going to want to figure out a lot of details and understand why, especially as it makes this sextile over to Mercury and Saturn. It wants to figure out what to build, and especially as Venus in Capricorn is opposing Jupiter in Cancer. You know, we want so much to build. We want to find relationships that are part of our path, our destiny. We want to make sure that we are building the right plans in order to manifest what we want. But Jupiter in Cancer wants us to expand our feelings, to expand our comfort zones, to, you know, find that nurturing energy. And Capricorn can be very all or nothing, up the mountain, you know, and there's a balancing spot here that's going to start to develop as Venus is going to do its opposition to Jupiter here a couple times. And this is going to happen throughout, you know, the month of December. So we're tapping into a ground of making sure we can balance out our comfort zones, balance out our plans, and make sure that we can manifest correctly, and then we can have relationships that fall in the same comfort zones that we have. And we might have some very weird comfort zones now, especially as we're dealing with deep inner Scorpio world and these feelings that, you know, are so unique to ourselves. This is realigning people. This is realigning situations to be in what we really feel. Like if it doesn't feel right in that position of yourself, you know, you're going to really start to observe this. And these are the weird feelings we have inside that, you know, Mercury and Saturn are highlighting, and the moon today going to come into this, really highlight these emotions a lot. And I think we're so close on the brink of something that we need to paint this big picture in our life, that we need to grow into what our feelings really want, what we want to manifest, balance those two areas out. But most importantly, I think it's so important for us to realize that there's a big opening coming, that we're about to step out of a lot of this sober energy that's been around. And it's been very, very hard to push through no matter what. There still is something that lingers in the back, no matter how much you are opening, and it's so close to getting rid of this. I mean, I know Saturn and Scorpio will be around for another year and more, but it is this Mercury energy attached to it, and a retrograde in Scorpio. We have been in deep, intimate, dark, you know, energy with Mercury for a long time. This affects our attitudes, it affects our thought patterns, but it's really having us hone in and focus on some really deep stuff, and for us to really become aware. So there's a lot of awareness around, there's a lot of growth to be found. There's a lot of inner work too. I think the inner work is so important for us, as it could be so important to readjust our reality correctly. And even though readjusting our reality and having every look and every little dial changed, and our bodies being part of this, all this Virgo energy, and there's a lot of Capricorn, and you know, there's a lot of earth, and there's some fire, and there's some water. I mean, there's a nice combination of a lot of things going on, but we need to really spark it up, I feel. The universe is ready to light the fire again, especially as the sun's going to start trining Uranus for the next week here. There's a lot of electricity to find, and there's a lot of, you know, re-identification after coming through a a really big blow, you know, a really intense storm, I'd like to say, inside that, you know, we're going to step out of this and we're really going to be powerfully changed forever. And so with all this energy happening with Venus that we're going to pay more and more attention to, and with Mercury coming out of the shadow period at the same time, there's an epiphany around this corner here in the next 24 hours. I'd say maybe even 48 as Mercury hits this. And what it's going to do is it's going to highlight, I think, especially with partnership, you know, because Mercury and Venus are about to start their sextile. And it's in the karma zone of this retrograde starting. Venus is starting to slow down, actually. So this is getting really funky here. This is going to really, going to bring out some really interesting, some fun things with karma, with relationships, with plans, and making sure that we can get all these right and being part of the right comfort zones, be part of the right energy that we can expand and grow with, you know, and that's what matters. And somebody wrote yesterday, if I'm still going to talk about anchoring the truth, just so you know, Saturn's in Scorpio for at least another year. At least. So that's the whole point of Saturn, is to make a foundation in your life based off what you really deserve and what you really want deeply inside in a deep, intimate way. And also defining your life is so important with Uranus and Aries. So I think that we're defining our lives for the first time in our truth. It's been a long time. It's been a long, long time since this could actually happen. Not in any of our grandparents' lifetimes and so forth. So pay attention to that, because that's what this is about. And this big storm we went through and this big inner world change that we've been developing and trying to observe is finally going to break us through somewhere. So, you know, pay attention to that. And it's actually a beautiful day. I feel that there's confidence brewing today, that you could push through some of the things that you've needed to, as the moon will get closer to Mars, especially near the nighttime. And, you know, there's some more clarity coming today. So I think it'll be an important day. Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you have any questions, or if you want to join the December webinar or the live webinar astrology classes. Thank you guys for all of your support, and I will see you tomorrow.